According to ancient legends, the Norwegian sea monster Kraken can easily overturn giant sailing ships. Japan's Yamata no Orochi, with its body winding like a mountain, devours villages. But when we look at the real prehistoric era, we will find that those legendary monsters are overshadowed by them. On the prehistoric Earth, the giant beasts were the absolute masters, and their size and strength were completely beyond the cognitive boundaries of modern humans. Next, let's embark on this journey to uncover the mysteries of the prehistoric horror behemoth. New viewers can like and subscribe to the little bell so as not to miss the great video. The fifth place is like a hill, and the 3 or 4 buses are not as long as it is. And the fourth place has a bite force of 26 tons, which can easily scrap heavy trucks, and it can be called a meat grinder. 10th terror bird. Usually, the birds we see are at most the size of a palm, standing on the branches and chirping. Not to mention how cute they are. But can you imagine that tens of millions of years ago, there was a bird that could scare you out? It's a terror bird, and just by hearing the name, you know that it's not a good one. As early as the 19th century, scientists discovered some huge bird fossils in Argentina, South America. The size and structure of these fossils were different from those of birds known at the time. After careful study, scientists determined that it was an extinct prehistoric bird and named it the terror bird. Compared to the small and delicate birds now, the terror birds are simply giants. The average terror bird can be 3 meters tall and weigh 400 kilograms, which is equivalent to the height of a floor, and the weight is 7 or 8 times that of an ordinary adult. The bird has a pair of huge dagger-like claws, and a single claw can deliver a fatal blow to its prey, and the sharp beak can easily tear prey to pieces. Not only that, but it is also extremely fast, and once its prey is targeted, it is impossible to escape. Terror birds lived in the Cenozoic era 60 million to 2 million years ago. South America was their main habitat. When South America had vast grasslands and dense forests, the climate was warm and humid. Rich vegetation provided sufficient food for various animals, but also created an excellent living environment for terror birds. Many small mammals in the forest were potential food sources for terror birds. With its powerful attacks, the terror bird had dominated the top of the food chain in South America for a long time, with few opponents. How did such a powerful bird become extinct? There are 2 main reasons. The first is climate change. About 2 million years ago, the Earth entered a new ice age, and the climate became cold and dry. The warm, moist grasslands and forests that the bird preferred were becoming less and less. Many plants were withering, and the number of animals that fed on plants was also greatly reduced. Without enough food, the survival of the bird became a big problem. The second reason is competition from other species. About 3 million years ago, the continents of North and South America were connected by the Isthmus of Panama, and many animals from North America fled to South America, where fierce predators such as wolves and saber-toothed tigers began to compete with birds for food and territory. These animals were very adaptable and gradually gained the upper hand in the competition. The bird slowly lost its bearings. In this way, the terror birds that dominated South America gradually went extinct. 9th Sarcosuchus imperator. We usually see the bloody mouth of the crocodile, and we already think it is quite scary. But if we travel back to ancient times and meet the prehistoric monster, then we know what real horror is. Sarcosuchus imperator. This name is not simple. It is a prehistoric giant crocodile. Compared to modern crocodiles, it is simply a game thing. Among the modern crocodiles, the largest bay crocodile can reach a maximum of about 7 meters. But Sarcosuchus imperator is 10 to 13 meters long and can weigh 4 to 10 tons. It may be more intuitive to say this. The Sarcosuchus imperator is lying on the ground, about the size of a heavy truck. This size, it is simply beyond imagination. This crocodile's skull is densely packed with 32 teeth, each of which is extremely sharp, and its bite is strong enough to easily bite a heavy tractor. And this terrifying attack is enough to make any prey fearful once targeted by it. There is almost no possibility of escape. It lived during the Cretaceous period, about 112 million to 93 million years ago. The Earth at that time was completely different from now. The Sarcosuchus imperator mainly lived near rivers and lakes in Africa and South America. In such an environment, it lived with ease. Its huge body could swim freely in the water, and it was the absolute overlord in the water. The survival habits of the Sarcosuchus imperator are also unique. It was a complete carnivore, feeding mainly on dinosaurs and other large aquatic animals. Despite its huge size, it was not clumsy at all. They usually like to lurk at the bottom of the water, exposing only their eyes and nostrils, quietly waiting for their prey to approach. Once a prey came to the river to drink, it would attack with lightning speed, bite the prey tightly with its powerful jaws and sharp teeth, and then drag it into the water, suffocating it to death. This method of hunting, which is both efficient and cruel, makes it difficult for other creatures to guard against. The process of human discovery of the Sarcosuchus imperator is also full of twists and turns. As early as 1964, French paleontologist Albert Felix discovered some huge crocodile fossil fragments in the Sahara Desert, but they didn't attract much attention at the time. It wasn't until 1997 that a team of researchers led by American paleontologist Paul Sereno came to the Sahara Desert again to investigate, and they found more complete fossils of this giant crocodile after years of research and restoration. These fossils have finally shown the world what the true face of the Sarcosuchus imperator is. In the late Cretaceous period, the Earth's climate changed drastically, with temperatures gradually decreasing, sea levels dropping, many rivers and lakes drying up. The habitat on which it depended was severely damaged. At the same time, food resources were becoming increasingly scarce. The number of large prey such as dinosaurs was decreasing, and the Sarcosuchus imperator was facing the threat of starvation. In this harsh environment, the survival of it became more and more difficult, and it eventually went extinct. 8th Ancient Monitor Lizard. How huge the ancient monitor lizard is. It will definitely amaze you. The body length can easily exceed 7 meters. The weight is 600 kilograms. Just from the data, it is already a giant. The modern lizard is in front of it, like a small toy. Its body is thick and muscular, and every step it takes seems to make the earth tremble. And this huge feeling of oppression is not something that ordinary animals can bring. In addition to its large physique, the ancient monitor lizard is not far behind in its attack power, with sharp and curved claws that can easily tear through the flesh and skin of its prey. The mouth is also full of sharp teeth. The bite force is amazing. Coupled with the nimble body and rapid speed, it is difficult for the prey to escape once it attacks. It is said that it can attack animals twice its size and 10 times its weight, and its combat power is also among the best among prehistoric animals. The ancient monitor lizard lived on the Australian continent about 400 years ago, and it was also in Australia that its fossils were first discovered. As early as the 19th century, some local people in Australia circulated legends about a giant lizard, which they called ancient monitor lizard, saying that it was huge and fierce, but at the time, people thought it was just a legend and didn't take it seriously. It wasn't until the end of the 19th century that some scientists found some huge fossilized lizard bones in caves and rock crevices in Australia. And after research, it was determined that these fossils belonged to an extinct giant lizard, that is, the ancient monitor lizard. Scientists have not yet fully determined the cause of the extinction of the ancient monitor lizard, but there are two main theories. One theory is that about 40,000 years ago, humans began to migrate to the Australian continent, and with the arrival of humans, Australia's ecological environment changed dramatically. Not only did humans hunt a variety of wild animals, but they also set fire to forests and grasslands, resulting in fewer and fewer food sources for ancient monitor lizards and serious habitat destruction. In this case, the number of ancient monitor lizards gradually decreased and eventually went extinct. Another theory is that 4,000 years ago, a series of climate changes occurred on the Australian continent with fallen temperatures and increased drought, and many plants and animals were unable to adapt to this change and became extinct. And the ancient monitor lizard lost its food and habitat and finally disappeared into the long river of history. 7th, Titanoboa. Now, the world's largest snake, the Titanoboa, can reach a maximum of June 7 meters and weigh more than 200 kilograms, which is enough to be daunting. But the average body length of it can reach 10-15 meters, and the maximum weight has reached 2-8 tons. As we all know, snakes have their own ways of attacking. Venomous snakes rely on venom, and non-venomous snakes rely on winding. But the Titanoboa's attack method is simple and crude, and with its super winding power alone, it can instantly strangle its prey to pieces. The Titanoboa lived in the rainforests of South America between 60 million and 58 million years ago. At that time, the Earth had just experienced the catastrophe of dinosaur extinction, and the ecological environment was being reshuffled. The tropical rainforests of South America had a humid and hot climate, lush vegetation, abundant water resources, and rivers and lakes, which provided an excellent living environment for the Titanoboa. A large number of fish, amphibians, small mammals, and so on thrived here, and also provided an ample food source for the Titanoboa. Titanoboas are carnivorous and have a huge appetite. Its main diet consists of large crocodiles, lungfish, and some mammals. When hunting, it takes advantage of its flexibility in the water to sneak underwater, waiting for its prey to approach. As soon as a prey comes into attack, it will suddenly attack with super speed and great strength, drag the prey into the water, and then quickly wrap around until the prey suffocates to death. The discovery of the Titanoboa by humans was also full of drama. In 2002, a group of geologists from Colombia accidentally discovered some huge vertebrae while conducting geological exploration at the Cerrejón coal mine in South America. At first, they didn't know what the fossils belonged to. As the excavation progressed, more and more fossils were discovered, and the scale and shape of these fossils shocked scientists. After a long period of research and analysis, scientists finally determined that the fossils belonged to an unprecedented species of giant snake, the Titanoboa. This discovery is a big step forward in people's understanding of prehistoric creatures. If you are very afraid of snakes, the next time you see a snake, you might as well think about the Titanoboa, and you will feel that this little snake in front of you does not seem so scary. 6th, Megalodon. The great white shark is considered to be the largest of the sharks, and the adult great white shark can generally reach 4 to 6 meters in length and weigh about 2 to 3 tons. But the Megalodon is much larger, with a length of more than 20 meters and a staggering 90 tons or more. The huge body swam in the ocean like a small submarine, and everywhere it went, other creatures had to retreat. In terms of attack power, the bite force of the great white shark can reach about 1 pounds, but the bite force of the Megalodon has reached an astonishing 26 tons, and the maximum can even reach 36 tons. Its teeth are huge, more than 18 centimeters long, and they are constantly reborn, making them a meat grinder. Megalodons lived in the oceans between 28 million and 1.5 million years ago, when the marine ecosystem was very different from today. With a wide variety of marine life, Megalodon lives in almost all of the world's oceans, from warm tropical seas to relatively cold high-latitude seas. Abundant food resources, such as various large cetaceans, dolphins, seals, and so on, provided an abundant food source for the Megalodon. The Megalodon hunts very efficiently, with a keen sense of smell and sight, and is able to spot prey from a distance. Once locked onto its target, it rushes towards its prey at breakneck speed, tearing it to shreds in a single bite with its powerful bite and sharp teeth. For some large cetaceans, megalodons attack their fins and tails to incapacitate their prey before taking their time to feast on them. The discovery of the megalodon was fraught with twists and turns. Initially, people began to know the megalodon through the discovery of its huge tooth fossils. The size and shape of these fossilized teeth are very different from those of modern sharks, with huge triangular teeth with sharp serrations around the edges, leading to speculation about what kind of terrifying creature it was. As more and more fossilized teeth and a small number of vertebrae were discovered, scientists gradually restored the true face of the megalodon through research and analysis. However, because the bones of the megalodon are cartilage, it is difficult to form fossils and preserve, so complete fossils about it are very rare. Fifth, Argentinosaurus. Can you imagine that such a super beast once existed on land? It's so big that you can't imagine. It's like another dimension. And that's the Argentinosaurus. The largest modern land animal is the African elephant, which can reach a height of March 4 meters and weigh 5 to 8 tons. But when you put it together with the Argentinosaurus, the African elephant instantly becomes small. Argentinosaurus can reach 30–40 meters in length and weigh between 70–100 tons. If it stands in front of you, it's like a moving hill, and the feeling of oppression is breathless. Thankfully, it only eats grass. Otherwise, there would be no creature in the world that would have escaped, but don't underestimate it. With its huge size, if it accidentally steps on something or waves its thick tail, it can be quite terrifying. There is no animal in modern life that can withstand such an unintentional attack by it. It lived in the Middle Cretaceous border about 100 million years ago, and the Late Cretaceous 93 million years ago. In the Argentine region of South America, with its vast plains and abundant plant resources, it was simply a paradise for Argentinosaurus. As a herbivore, its survival habits revolved around eating and resting. It spends a lot of time eating every day because of its large body and the huge amount of energy it consumes. Its diet consists mainly of tall plants, and with its long neck, it can easily reach the leaves and twigs of the trees in high places. In 1937, an Argentine paleontologist stumbled upon some huge fossil fragments while conducting an expedition in the desert of the Argentine province of Neuquén. At first, he didn't know what the fossils belonged to, but the sheer size of the fossils caught his attention. There is no definitive conclusion as to why it became extinct. There is a theory that with the change of climate in the late Cretaceous, the species and distribution of vegetation on Earth changed. The Argentinosaurus relied on dwindling food resources to meet its huge food needs, eventually leading to their extinction due to starvation. There is also an opinion that in the late Cretaceous period, there was a lot of geological activity on the Earth, and natural disasters, such as volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, continued. These natural disasters have devastated its habitat and made it difficult for them to survive. Fourth, Dunkleosteus. The Dunkleosteus lived in the late Devonian period, about 360 million to 380 million years ago, and its body length reached 10 meters, and it weighed more than 4 tons. An average school bus is about 7 to 8 meters long, and the Dunkleosteus is longer than a school bus. However, the physique is not the most terrifying part of it, and the strong attack power is the reason why the Dunkleosteus dominates the ocean. The bay crocodile has the strongest bite force among modern animals, with a bite force of about 1.9 tons, which is enough to bite hard turtle shells. But the bite force of the Dunkleosteus is as high as 5 tons. What is this concept? It can easily smash a small car. Not only does it have an amazing bite force, but it also attacks incredibly fast, taking only 50 milliseconds from the moment it finds its prey to the time it attacks. Although it has no real teeth in its mouth, It has two rows of sharp bone fragments like a pair of giant scissors, which can easily tear its prey to pieces. In the era in which it lived, the Dunkleosteus was the absolute overlord of the ocean, and no creature dared to challenge its authority lightly. The discovery of it was fraught with chance. In 1867, an amateur fossil collector named Clemens Moore in the United States stumbled upon some strange fossil fragments while digging for fossils at a quarry in Ohio. The shards looked huge and strangely shaped, and Moore didn't know what they belonged to at the time. Later, the fossils were sent to professional paleontologists, and after careful study and analysis, scientists determined that the fossils belonged to a completely new species of prehistoric fish. In the shallow waters of the late Devonian period, the Dunkleosteus had an extremely keen sense of smell and vision, and once it spotted a target, it would quickly attack, using a strong bite force and sharp bone fragments to subdue its prey instantly. It eats a lot of food and can consume a lot of food in a single meal, so it needs to constantly look for new prey. Thankfully, such a terrifying creature is now extinct, and if it still dominates the oceans, it will be even harder for humans to explore them. Third, Melville whale. The Melville whale lived in the Miocene 12 million to 13 million years ago, and its body length is estimated to be up to 17 meters, making it very stout. Scientists speculate that based on the fossils found, its head is huge, and its teeth are even more amazing. The longest teeth are more than 36 centimeters, which can be terrible if you are bitten by it. In terms of attack power, most of today's whales have a gentle personality, such as baleen whales. Although they are large, they mainly feed on small plankton and rely on baleen to filter seawater for food, and are basically not aggressive. Even the more ferocious killer whales are only 6 to 9 meters long, and they need to work together to kill seals, sea lions, and other prey. But the Melville whale is a super carnivore with a strong attack that feeds on other large sea creatures, such as small whales and large squid. Its massive teeth can easily pierce the body of its prey, inflicting fatal damage on it, and it is definitely a formidable presence in the ocean in the era in which it lives. So, in 2008, when the Melville whale was discovered by a team of American paleontologists in the Ica Desert in Peru, it simply shocked the world. According to scientific analysis, Melville whales mainly live in deep-sea areas, where the light is dim and the water pressure is huge. But for Melville whales, these are not a problem. It has a keen sense of hearing and an echolocation system, which allows it to accurately perceive the location of its prey in the dark depths of the ocean. As a solitary super hunter, it uses its powerful physical advantage to hunt for prey in the ocean. Once it finds its target, it will quickly attack, subduing its prey with its sharp teeth and powerful bite. Like many prehistoric creatures, Melville whale eventually went extinct. The reason for its extinction is still inconclusive. There is a theory that as the Earth's climate changes, so does the marine environment, which may lead to a reduction in the food source of Melville whales, threatening their survival. In addition, some scientists speculate that some large-scale geological activities may have occurred on the Earth at that time, such as submarine volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, etc., which destroyed the living environment of Melville whales and made it difficult for them to continue to survive. Second, giant dragonfly. In today's summer, we can often see light dragonflies on the water surface and flying among the flowers. They are small and delicate. The body is smart. The largest modern dragonfly wingspan is only about 16 centimeters. They are harmless and cute little insects. But if you go back in time to the Carboniferous period 300 million years ago, there was a terrifying giant insect hovering in the sky, the giant dragonfly, which is very different from the dragonflies we are used to. The giant dragonfly, as you can guess from its name alone, is huge. Its wingspan can reach 70 centimeters or more, almost the length of an adult's arm, several times the largest modern dragonfly, and about the size of an eagle. When a group of giant dragonflies flutter their wings in the air, they are like small helicopters covering the sky and the sun. Modern dragonflies feed mainly on small insects, such as mosquitoes and small flying insects, and they use their flexible mouthparts to quickly catch their prey, making them pose no threat to humans. The giant dragonfly, on the other hand, is a ferocious carnivore. It has thick, spiky legs that hold its prey firmly. Huge compound eyes provide a wide field of view for precise positioning of prey, sharp and powerful mouthparts that can easily bite the body of the prey. In the Carboniferous sky, whether it is a small insect or a small amphibian, once it is targeted by the giant dragonfly, there's almost no possibility of escape. It is a well-deserved sky overlord. In 1880, a French paleontologist discovered some strange fossils for the first time in the Carboniferous strata. These fossils take on a dragonfly-like shape, but are surprisingly large in size. At first, the researchers couldn't believe it after all. It was much larger than people knew about dragonflies. As more fossils were unearthed and further studied, scientists determined that it was a giant dragonfly that lived in ancient times, and we now call it the giant dragonfly. The Carboniferous Earth's oxygen content was much higher than it is now, about 35%. Such an environment provides unique conditions for the growth of dragonflies. The high oxygen content allows insects to obtain enough oxygen through a simple trace system to support their tremendous physical activity. The abundant vegetation provides a living space for a variety of small creatures and also provides an ample source of food for the dragonfly. After the Carboniferous period, the Earth entered the Permian period. The climate gradually became dry and cold. The forest area was greatly reduced. The number of many small organisms also decreased, and the food source of the dragonfly became scarce, and finally it became completely extinct. If they were still alive in this world, going out every day, would humans still be alive? I'm afraid we will be scared to death. First, Pliosaurus. Pliosaurus, its size is beyond imagination. It can easily reach a length of 10 meters or more, and some large ones may exceed 15 meters in length. That's a lot bigger than the cubs of the blue whale, the largest marine creature in modern times. In terms of weight, Pliosaurus can weigh several tons, and its huge body swims in the ocean like a small submarine. The Pliosaurus had a huge, stout head, perhaps more than 2 meters long alone, and its mouth was filled with sharp 30-centimeter-long teeth, which were conical and extremely sharp. Like a dagger, its bite force is staggering, and scientists speculate that the bite force of it may exceed 10 tons, which means that it can easily crush the bones of any prey, even ammonites with a hard shell. In comparison, the bite force of the great white shark is only 1 to 2 tons, which is not a great at all. The first fossil of the Pliosaurus was discovered in England in the 18th century. At that time, a British fossil collector named Mary Anning found some strange fossils on the cliffside near Lyme Regis in Dorset. The fossils looked like the bones of some kind of giant sea creature, but due to the limited knowledge of paleontology at the time, it was not known what kind of creature it was at first. Over time, more and more similar fossils were discovered, and after paleontologists studied and pieced together, it was finally determined that it was a giant reptile that lived in the ancient ocean, that is, the Pliosaurus. Living during the Jurassic period 160 million years ago, the Pliosaurus was a very ferocious carnivorous animal that belonged to the apex predators. It is a pretty fast swimmer. Thanks to its huge flippers, the limbs of it have evolved into giant fins, each of which is several meters long, which allows it to turn and accelerate quickly in the water. When it hunts, it will use its keen sense of sight and smell to find prey. Once it finds its target, it rushes over at great speed and bites its prey with its huge mouth. Its attack is very direct and violent, not giving its prey any chance to escape at all. As for why the Pliosaurus became extinct, The academic community generally believes that it is related to the Mosasaurus, which competes with it for food and living space, but the Mosasaurus has a more flexible body and stronger adaptability, and gradually has the upper hand in the competition, while the Pliosaurus is slowly becoming extinct.